the struggle. Long time had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Hood baby from the struggle. Long time had a hustle. I'm glad we made it through. Okay, hey Cleveland, welcome. It's Laura, it's your girl Laura Cowan, and I'm here with another episode of Tea Time. Tea Time, got your cup. Tea Time with Laura. And tonight we're going to have a great segment, so I hope you get it ready. Maybe take some notes because this is going to be awesome and amazing. But before you start all of that, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our broadcast. We would appreciate that so much. And if you look down at the bottom in the description, you'll also find the website to be the documentary, Be a Raised Fist Mixtape, Volume 1, coming to you soon. And also share that as well. Check out the website. We have a blog on there. It's some exciting things, information about the documentary, our progress, where we're going with it, and also the merchandise page too. And support us, please support us. Buy a t-shirt, buy a hat, buy it for somebody else, buy it for yourself, because summer's coming. We're gonna be wearing our shirts out there, and I want to see your B shirt on you, okay? So let's get started. And this is Tea Time with Laura. So people, I want to say to you, especially the ladies out there, happy history, Women's History Month. Yesterday, I believe, was the exact history day, but this entire month is dedicated to some strong women, wonderful women out there, and our ancestors as well, so the shoulders we stood on, that why we're here today. And I can dedicate a lot of people that brought me through the path. So Women History Month is important. And yeah, you guys too, come on, support your mom, support your sisters, support your girl, support, because we women we make it happen. All right, so remember, Tea Time with Laura is every Friday at 7 o'clock sharp. So tune in to Tea Time, and don't forget, share, like, and subscribe. So we have a wonderful guest today, and his name is Maurice Martin. Maurice is fantastic, brother. He has a lot going on in one package, I tell you. Maurice is a sought out after a speaker, counselor, and a spiritual life coach. Maurice is also a former co-host for the TV show Getting the Word Out. He is also a co-host of Grace Factor podcast. And Maurice has a couple of books out. One is called Your Butt is Too Big. But though, B-U-T. He'll go into that detail as well later on in the segment. And we're going to talk about that. And also he's releasing a Christian counseling and Christian faith. His first book is Save the Day. I think that's awesome. We got to hear more about Save the Day. So without further ado, let's bring in our guest tonight, Mr. Maurice F. Martin. Hey, Maurice.
Hey, Laura, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate this. I think we have some great conversation to have tonight for sure.
I know we do. I appreciate you coming on too. This is a very important. Relationships are always important topic, because, we never have a manual how to work a relationship. We just pretty much see and mimic, especially after our parents, and we take it from there, So we're gonna talk to you more about relationships, because we all need some help, including your girl over here.
Hey, tell the truth. Yeah. I think it's one of those topics that everybody wants to talk about, but everybody's afraid to, right? Because once we talk about relationships, you got to talk about what's messed up in yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. What's messed up is indeed. So what put you on this journey, though? Relationships, all things. I mean, you could have been a chemist, an IT person, a doctor, a lawyer. A relationship coach, spiritual too, at that.
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, my journey really started off with, I hate to say it this way, but trauma from relationships, right? So as a kid, I lived in a house where there was domestic violence, and where I grew up feeling depressed, anxious, afraid because of the things that happened in my house. When I grew, at first I was a musician, and I spent time in music. And when that fizzled, I found myself searching for, what am I on the earth to do? And what I realized was that as I started to repair my life and heal from what I had been through in my life, an important relationship I needed to work on was with me and me, right? Me and the former me and the voice that I sometimes hear of negativity. And so it started there, and then you evolve into, well, what about you and your higher power? How healthy is that relationship? And so by the time I'm helping people work on those outside relationships, that's almost the least important, because my marriage is a byproduct of my relationship with myself and a relationship with my God, right?
Yeah.
My relationship with my children. Well, how healthy am I? The healthier I am, the better father I am, the better husband I am, the better friend I am. So I think in the end that we all need to just understand that relationships actually start off by being focused on you.
Mm-hmm. That's deep, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And believe it or not, I was watching you on Instagram.
Mm.
I like to kind of spy a little bit. And I saw a couple of videos, and it was very like, wow, uplifting. I felt uplifted when I got off of one of them. It's like, whoa, I felt better about myself. And the one that really touched me the most is when you said, "You're not alone." And that's like the motto to all survivors out there. And we tell them too at the shelters, the women who going through domestic violence, that you're not alone. So as soon as I heard that, it was like a trigger for me a little bit. It's like, oh wow, he said the words we always saying.
Well, and I was
ahead.
just going to say that, essentially when we talk later on about my book, you'll kind of understand that's the heartbeat of the work I do, is that I have looked at so many women and men in the eyes, and they felt alone. That I've met people who had millions of dollars, success, status, and they felt alone. They felt broken. They felt less than. Let alone the people who were trying to overcome abuse or addiction or the different things that I've experienced in my work. And so what I find is there's a common denominator that we all feel alone sometimes.
Yeah, you're right about that. That is a common denominator. And even with our children, they're starting to feel like that too. And that's where you get a lot of that, suicidal thoughts coming in. And that's kind of scary, for someone who's so small and young and haven't really experienced anything in life to even think that way, but they feel like they're alone.
Absolutely.
They're going through whatever they're going through it all by themselves. And they're not. And they need to know. So that was powerful. So, I clicked follow. So I'm definitely following you.
Well, I love that. Just so you know, I followed you back.
Oh, you saw that. Okay, touche.
I did.
Boom.
I did.
Awesome. And there was another video too I like. It was something you said, how do you say? I just wanted you to know that you're not alone, but it was another one. I'm trying to remember. God dug it. Because you were talking to another guy, and he was talking about his wife. It'll come to me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Negativity sticks, positivity bounces. Right? It was the concept that if 10 people walk up to you and give you a compliment, tell you, girl, that blouse looks beautiful. It only takes one person to walk in the room and give you some negativity, and you'll think to yourself, well, why didn't anybody tell me this was an ugly blouse? You'll assume that negativity was the truth, that it has more weight. And so what we need to understand, it's twofold. The first thing I need to understand is that I need to tell myself more positive things than negative. See, that starts
Mm-hmm.
internally. I have to be very intentional about speaking life to myself, or else my mind will have a tendency to tear me down.
Yeah.
The other thing I need to understand is that if I'm not okay, if I'm not healthy, I will find myself saying negative things, lashing out in emotion, frustration, whatever it is. Well, my words have lasting effects. I could tell someone I love them 10 times, but if I tell you I can't stand you one time, that's probably what you'll remember, right? And when I think about even my childhood, I'm
Yeah.
sure that there was many, many times when my parents told me how loved I was. But when I had moments when I was told what I would never be and what I would never become, those words, they carried weight. It stuck in a way that the positivity didn't. So we need to understand the power of words.
We need to flip the script, don't we? And make that reverse, you know?
That's it. That's it.
But you're right, though, man. You made a good example, too, with the dress or anything else, you know? People can compliment you all day long, but it just take that one compliment that everything else goes out the door.
That's it. That's it.
But why? Yeah.
Well, and I think it's a little bit of how we're wired as humans, that we're always looking for truth, right? It's the search for truth. Well, the problem is that we have associated truth with negativity. So if you hire a coach, if you hire someone like me to come in, you know that I know my thing when I'm willing to tell you what's wrong with how you're approaching life, right? And so we associate intelligence, wisdom, and expertise with negativity. And what we need to learn is that life is in the shades of gray. It's when I can actually acknowledge what is good and what is bad. That's what's most important. One of the things that I've had to learn how to do myself is to say, even if I'm going to be critical of myself as a professional, you have to be able, Maurice, to say good things about yourself and bad things. If it's only bad things, then you're going to end up with low self-esteem and low self-worth and low value. What I have to do is say, I'm proud of myself because, I'm happy that I showed up for myself because, I'm grateful for this moment because, and here's how I could do better. It's important that I find a way to express and acknowledge both. And that's internally, and also when I'm communicating with my loved ones. If the only thing you ever have to say is criticism, something is off in your calibration. Something is off in the way that you are communicating with the people you love.
Okay, so I think people need to hear that one more time about that. Give me that title again. I like that.
Absolutely. Negativity sticks, positivity bounces.
Boy, when I heard that, though, I said, it's like, yes, I know exactly what they're talking about. So, you know, it gave me chills. But yeah, I mean, it's like deja vu, because everything you saying in each and every video on the Instagram page, it's like I went through in some kind of way, you know. I can relate. I can relate to them. So they're all relatable. So that's awesome. We should put it all, bunch it all one big, huge podcast or something. That is just great. It really is.
I truly appreciate that. And that's always my goal, just to say things that are real and sincere. I've been through some things in my life. So I'm speaking not just as a professional, but as a survivor, as a person who has moved on and just wants to pick other people up.
We're here with Maurice Martin. He's also a coach, author, spiritual coach, and author. I mean, what are you not?
What am I not? I'm not a basketball player. I'm 5'6". I'm not a professional football player. I'm not a professional athlete of any kind. So there's a lot of things I'm not. I'm also not very good at math. So don't ask me to do any math for you. That won't work out.
Oh, you too? That was my worst subject in school, okay?
Absolutely.
I love English, everything, but leave the math out. Thank you very much. I'm not alone.
Not at all.
I feel so good already. Okay. So we talked about your journey and all, but now I want to talk to you a little bit about activism. And that's what I am. I'm a community activist. And I'm also a domestic violence advocate. I work at CMHA, and I'm their domestic violence advocate there. And you know, activism is different levels and different types of activism. And I think your activism fits like in relationship activism right away, because people you're fighting for a cause, you know, and you're fighting to get people on the right track if you can.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
that's powerful. So tell me about what you feel activism is, and also we have a mutual friend that we both know, and we're going to talk about that as well.
Sure, absolutely. You know, I feel like part of my life purpose, if I was to call it that, is to be an advocate for individuals who need hope. Right. I'll be honest in saying that I have had bouts with depression, anxiety, and quite frankly, being suicidal, not wanting to be on earth anymore. And that turned into substance abuse for a period of my life. And I was in a dark place. As I started healing from that, I realized that part of why I'm here, in my opinion, is to help people know that there is hope, that they don't have to go through these struggles and only have Jack Daniels to turn to, and only have the weed to turn to, the pills to turn to. So my journey, as soon as I got sober and started to really change my life, is I became a drug counselor. That's when the counseling started. And the advocacy of sitting down with men and women who were fighting for their life, fighting for hope, finding for something outside of a needle that might give them peace. I lost one of my brothers from heroin overdose. So, I mean, I've really experienced a lot of the effects of that sort of thing. In that journey, I've helped a lot of people and been a part of a lot of people's success stories. And in that journey is where I met that mutual friend, Silver B. B was just, he worked at one of the same facilities I did in downtown Cleveland. And he was always going to come up to you and share wisdom, share some spirituality. He was going to have a word for you, a prayer for you. He was going to walk in and let you know, brother, you're here for a reason. Don't give up. Don't give in. You got something to go do, right? And I will say that was the beginning, really, of my journey into what I'm doing now. So he spoke life into me at a time when I needed it. He let me know you're in the right place. God is using you right now. Don't let anything slow you down. And I will forever be grateful for the words he gave me, the hope he gave me, because in turn, I gave that back as an advocate to others. I poured that into others after he poured it into me. And that in and of itself is the extension of a legacy.
Oh boy, you hit that on the head. Silver B was everything all wrapped in but one.
Yes, he was.
Know, it still hurts me today that he's gone. That's why I kind of, I sat down with Eric and MadWorks, and we kind of thought we would do this documentary, and not so much all about Silver B, but about the activism, his legacy, what he wanted to accomplish, on this world before he left. I mean, from voting rights, the women issue, homelessness, teenage problems, everything. He was doing it all. And I think it was the CTC Center downtown on Carnegie. And boy, I would drop him off many times. And when I would drop him off, right, and there'd be people line up at the door. Hey, Silver, hey, he couldn't even get in the door good. They ready to talk to him. He had that personality, that glow.
Yeah, and so when you ask me questions like what is advocacy, I look at advocacy the way he would have looked at it, because he looked at it as a human issue. Hey, there's a brother in front of me, there's a sister in front of me, and there's something that's keeping them from happiness, something keeping them from peace, something keeping them from flourishing. And whatever that thing is, it must be dealt with. It must be worked on. It must be called to taken to task. It must be called out, right? That's advocacy in a nutshell, is understanding that people must be empowered and anything taking away their power must be challenged. I think that's advocacy, and that's what I heard when I heard B speak.
Hmm. Absolutely. He hit every facet of life. I mean, I don't care if you were black, white, age wouldn't matter, old or young.
Hmm.
Everyone flocked around him for that wisdom.
Hmm.
He definitely lifted you up all the time.
Absolutely.
And he was the reason I got into doing radio at all, was because of him. He pushed everybody to do things they would never do before. And that was just him. So I feel good knowing that we got this mutual friend. And I can see a lot of you too, and him in you, and I can see where it's coming from. And you're definitely a B product.
Yes, no, absolutely, 100%. And my wife is too. My wife and I were just talking about it a few hours ago. We worked at CTC at the same time as him, and he poured into us both in different ways. Absolutely.
Oh, see there, look at that. Now that's beautiful. Did he meet her? Did he have
Yeah,
a chance?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she worked there with me. So
Okay.
she knew him well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Hmm.
Wow, that's a big connection right there. That makes me feel good.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I just pray that on this personal note, we'll see him again.
Mm,
We'll see him again.
Well, I think the key is to make sure that we don't, how do I say this the right way?
Mm-hmm.
If we live right, his legacy is seen every day.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I try to make sure that I live in a way that honors the people who touched my life the most.
Right.
Right. I think that when I think about my spiritual connect, I'm a spiritual coach, so I'm always thinking spiritually, right? And the reality is, I see him and many other people who changed and impacted my life. Every time I see myself giving a helping hand or see myself pouring my heart to somebody in need, that's his legacy. And I don't have to wait till heaven. I don't have to wait till the other side or the sweet by and by. I can bring heaven to earth when I give my heart to somebody. And I think that's the key to true advocacy, is to pour out here and now.
Oh, man. Oh, God. I should have been writing that down. Because that is so true, isn't it? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so, you're right. Do right, be right, and we don't have to wait till the sweet by and by.
That's it.
I get it. I get it, and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and what you're doing, that spiritual coaching is so important because, like he would always say too, you got to keep God first.
Yes,
he would always say that.
Always. That's the number one thing he wanted to say. Sometimes he didn't have time for anything else. We would be meeting and passing, and he would say, you already know what you need to do. You already know who it is challenging, right? And he was just pointing up and he was letting you understand. And so sometimes I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our circumstances that we miss that even the bitter circumstances are the things that can make us better. Right? If you've been through some challenging times. Yes. I've been through some challenging times. Yes. Is it not the things that you healed from and grew through that have made you the tough person you are?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's when it gets deeper.
That's when it gets deeper. Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna get deeper later. But yeah, I got you. Woo, woo. Okay, see what we're going through, people? Oh, I hope you're taking some notes because I got my pad right here. I got it real quick and I'm writing down everything I can because this is a teachable moment right here. It really is. So I appreciate you coming on and just talking to our audience about this. You got your cup? This is tea time. Let's see that cup there. Oh, I like that. Look at you.
A beautiful blue.
Your cup bigger than my cup. That's nice. I like that too. That's a nice hearty looking cup. Well, let's jump right into your books. Let's talk about them. Okay. We're going to start off with the first one, Save the Day. Oh, I like that. It feels like you're here to save the day.
Well, so, I wrote about the premise. Actually, the first book is a very short book. It's an easy read. And the premise of Save the Day is simply, sometimes you'll be waiting for someone to come rescue you. You're thinking, man, only if somebody would call me on the phone, somebody would knock on the door, if only somebody would come and do for me what I've done for everybody else. I help everybody else and they don't help me. You know, the rant that we can get into. And there's this understanding that nobody's coming to save you. You're the strong one. No one's coming to rescue you. You're the one that they're coming to. And so sometimes it's the person in the mirror who needs to stand up and say, enough is enough. And what you find is that when you look on the inside, everything that you need is already there. The strength, the courage, the wisdom, the power, the passion, it's inside of you, but you have to bring it out. And of course, that's a spiritual journey, right?
Spiritual.
But you are enough and you are worth that journey. And so really, I think of Save the Day, it's just a book of encouragement. It tells you, get up, get going, walk towards what you've been running from, and you'll find you have what it takes to get there.
There you go. I like that. Okay, that's on my wish list. I'm getting that book. I'm getting that book. And your first one, or the second one, really, your butt is too big. Now a little play on words, I know it is. So explain that one, if you will.
Absolutely. So I think of your butt. We've all been there where we said, well, you know, I mean, I would have some of these things worked out by now, but well, I would be healthier but you got to understand that, you know, I would have worked on my weight. I would have worked on my attitude. Well, I would be healthier mentally, but, and what I explain in my book is that your emotional butt is very similar to your physical one, right? The things in my life that I have consumed but have not processed become the dead weight that I carry with me through my life. Okay. So if I have dealt with criticism, disappointment, trauma, drama, pain, here's one thing I know. Most people have not healed from what they've been through.
Yes.
Yeah, you went through it, but did you go to therapy? Did you journal about it? Did you cry all the tears that you needed to? Or did you just straighten up and muscle your way through it? And what we find is that most of us have muscled our way through tragedies and heartbreaks.
Yes.
And so the point of your butt is too big is to say, if everything you truly want in life, you're not going after because I would have done that, but then you need to look back and you need to say, what do I need to heal from? What do I need to grow through? What do I need to face so that the things in my past no longer keep me from reaching my destiny? And that's really the whole point of your butt is too big.
Wait a minute. Hold on. The things from my past.
The things of your past.
Of your past.
Can no longer stand in the way of your destiny.
Your destiny. Ooh, I'm printing that out. I'm going to print it out with some nice color paper, put it up on a wall. You know, you got to have affirmations and positive stuff, you know.
Well, actually, when you pick up my book, you'll find that the 5th chapter actually has an entire series of affirmations in it for you, already written out. And so the way that I wrote my book is that I begin by, I take you through a 7-step process. And the first step I talk about, well, listen, before you deal with anything, you have to figure out what's wrong. Right? So I talk about the importance of evaluating your situation. Then I talk about your mindset. Understanding that true change and transformation takes time. I know that everybody wants things to come as quickly as the selfie flash on your phone or the quick like on your social media. And so we want for happiness to come in a pill or from a movie or from a song or from anything else that can hit me right away. Real healing takes time.
Yeah.
Anything you really heal from in your life, you already know it takes time. And so once we acknowledge your mindset and we evaluate what's going on within your life, we talk about, I call it the balance of hope. The balance of hope is simply this. In this moment, this is the moment where God can use you to change your life.
Okay.
Sometimes we think about hope as being something in the future.
Mm.
And the problem with always thinking about the future is that all of your hope, as soon as I meet the right person, then, well, as soon as I get that job promotion, well, as soon as my money stop being funny, well, as soon as I get that new car, well, and the problem is when you get it,
Yeah.
it's a fleeting moment because you don't know how to be present in the moment with it, the thing you waited for. So hope, the real hope, the deep hope, is the hope of right now, in the present moment. This is where you can actually face a problem. This is where you can address your issues. This is where we can have a heart to heart about what's going on with you. This moment.
Right.
And so once we talk about all of that, that's when I get into really speaking about what I call action. Action are the healthy habits that you can take to change your life. And one of my favorite habits is affirmations. Learning to say statements and say things that touch your heart, shift your thoughts of your mind, right? A scripture would say, be not transformed to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? So I actually give you about 20 or 30 examples of scriptures and affirmations that can tie to them to change your thinking, change your mood, change your mindset. So that's one of the benefits of my book, actually, is I give you the affirmations to help you.
Where can I get the book? I can't wait on Eric. So where can
you can
is
find
it on
my
Amazon?
Book. It is the best place to find it. I always say is my website, which is mauricefmartin.com. Right now, what I'm doing is if anybody buys from my website, I'm automatically signing and sending. So you will get a signed book if you buy through my website. You can buy through Amazon. It won't be signed, but go for it there too. That's all fine and dandy. And you'll also find actually on Amazon, I just released a prayer journal as well that pairs with the book. So it gives you prayer prompts for every day. It gives you scriptures and just things to keep your mind focused and to keep your mind right as you're going through that process. I will warn people, if you haven't caught on yet, it's a deep book. And one of my best friends, what he said to me, and I think this is so real. He said, Maurice, I was only reading the book because I was trying to be your friend, and I just thought I would read it so I could say I read it. He said, and I picked it up and the book started reading me. And I realized I was in for a journey. And so I wrote this book, not to just be an expert, but to be a human. I have been there. When I say I've been suicidal, when I say I've been depressed, when I say I've been broken, when you read my words, you'll know I'm not making it up. Yes. I start the book. The opening of my book is me on my wedding night, 2016. And it's my wedding night, and I'm standing outside of the hotel, and I'm having an anxiety attack. It's supposed to be the happiest night of my life. Two brothers had died in 2 years. So I had a lot of grief and a lot of pain.
Right.
And I was trying to find, how am I going to become a better man so that I can be the husband she needs? Someday we're going to have children. How can I be the father that's a better father than what I experienced? Where do I get there? How do I get there? When do I get there? Can I get there? And so I started the book that way so that anybody who's been through real challenges and real trials would know, oh, the way he describes this, that's not just good. That's not just good writing.
Yeah.
That's life experience. I have a baby face, but I've lived a whole lot more than you think. And you find that out real quick.
Well, you had me at hello, so I'm in. You're never in the present. You're always in the future. Wow. That's deep, though. That's really deep. I feel like I'm getting a counseling section 101 right now.
Well, this is kind of what it feels like, except in the actual spiritual coaching sessions, you do more talking than me. And that's a hard thing because I'll be honest, my goal when I coach, the goal is I don't want you to stay the same. And so I usually ask questions at the start of a session. I actually offer a free 30-minute session. And you go to my website. First 30 minutes is free. I just talk to you for the first time I talk to you. Okay. And I ask people, like, on a scale of 1 to I really want to change, where are you? And if you really want to change, I have helped people, and this is not bragging. This is what people have said to me. Maurice, I have learned more about myself in an hour with you than 5 years in therapy. It's not to brag. It's to say, when I listen to you, I listen to your heart speaking. I listen to the things you're not saying, and I make sure that we get real. What is really happening in your life right now? Oh, you know, I think everything's good for the most part. Then why did you schedule a session with me if everything's good? Well, there's a couple of things I'm not happy about. Talk about them. So they start talking, and I say, okay, and why do you think that's an issue? Well, it's not that big of an issue. You said it was an issue. Are you telling me that you were lying before? No, it was really an issue before. So why? And by the time we get, it's kind of like Jan Van Zant, you know what I mean? It's like that.
Yeah.
Let's have a real conversation. Let's not hide. You spend your time with everybody else hiding. You don't got to hide with me. Let's just talk about what's really happening. That's it.
Right.
It's not intimidating. I don't think I'm a very intimidating human. Especially if you saw me in person. I'm 5'6", so there's not much going on here. Okay, I can't beat you up in a street fight. Like, I'm gonna lose. So you can take me. Let's be very clear. But it's just in love and in care and compassion. I make sure that your butt don't stay too big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and here's the thing. Let me tie this segment in with the last segment. We called him Silver B, right?
Yeah.
In short, we call him B. What's the greatest lesson he could teach you? To be.
To be.
You know who he was? He was B at all times. You and I, no matter where we met him, met the same man. Mm-hmm. See, now you and I know a lot of people in life who switch. They put masks on. They're this guy in corporate America. They're this guy at home. They're this guy at church. They're this guy. Well, you know what? Yeah. You want to know when life is the healthiest? When you're consistent. When your children know what to expect. When your wife or your husband know what to expect. When your employees know what to expect. When your congregation knows because you're not flying off the handle all the time. That's when your life, when you bring the most value, is when you're consistent. And so that's what I try to help people get to, as a place of being.
Yeah. Now you do that probably well with the podcast then, I guess, too, but you can reach the masses that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know? And right now we're in the process of kind of reevaluating both the current podcast that I'm doing, and I'm coming out with a second one. And on the second one, I'll be doing some of the episodes, and some of them will be my wife and I. And so as we're evaluating this, the question is simply, what do people need? What do people need to hear? Grace Factor has been beautiful. That's the current podcast I do with my good brother, Rob Greer. Okay. And the entire purpose of Grace Factor is to tell you what it's really like to walk with God and to try to be a godly man in real life. Not the Sunday morning sermon where I tell you that I'm blessed and highly favored and that I don't ever stress. But to say, brother, I was tripping yesterday, okay? My mind went crazy. I was ready to cuss everybody out and fuss everybody out, and then I had to pray, right? Yeah. It's talking about the real journey of faith. Mm-hmm. And I think that the more real we get with all of our interactions in our lives, the more we can tell the truth about what we've been through and what we're going through, the healthier we become.
Wow. Oh. Ooh, okay. I love it. I hope you guys are getting this down pat, because Maurice is socking it to us left and right. And I hope you've been hanging in here to listen to all of what he has to say. And check out his books too, and go to his website. And that's MauriceMartin.com. I believe that's what he said, and he's going to correct that if that's not true.
MauriceFMartin.com. Yep.
MauriceFMartin.com. What's the F for?
Fleming. It's actually my mom's maiden name.
Oh, I like that. Fleming. Okay, okay. I love it. Now that sets you apart, the Maurice F. I like that too, because there's a lot of Maurice Martins out there.
There sure is.
So that's awesome. Go and purchase his book, people, because you will not be disappointed. Your butt is too big, and also save the day. And I'm going to get mine, so I hope you get yours. But next thing you know, you're going to be out. You'll be sold out, Maurice.
I look forward to that.
Okay. So we're going to go on and finish up talking. You hit a lot of key points here tonight, and just keeping it real is what it's all about. But if you could talk to your younger self, if you could go back in time, right, and talk to your younger self, what would you say to your younger self?
Ooh, that's a good question. If I had a chance to talk to my younger self, I would let him know that he is what he thinks he is, even when people doubt it.
Okay.
I think that he knew that I could be. He knew that he had potential. He knew that he had talents and skills and intelligence and so many things. But the negativity that he heard was always louder than the belief he had in himself. And so he tried to prove people wrong and was sometimes fueled by proving people wrong rather than being fueled by proving himself right. I know that may sound like the same thing, but let me tell you the difference. And this is what I would tell him. When you try to prove people wrong, you're always staring at the people to see if they're paying attention.
Yeah.
When you're proving people right, you accomplish something, you pat yourself on the back, you look up to the big man upstairs and say, thank you, we did it, let's keep going, and you keep moving in the right direction. And you don't worry about what the haters are thinking, and you don't worry about what the doubters are saying. You just keep doing the right next thing. And you'll find that you end up where you need to be, and you have peace, and you have joy, and you have love, no matter if the other people are paying attention or not. So you are who you think you are. So don't worry about proving them wrong. Prove yourself right.
Prove yourself right. I love that. Good grief. Again, another chill moment. It's like, to me, you have to, that's something else you had said in one of your videos too. Love the guy in the mirror. You have to love the guy in the mirror. And that's you. You have to love yourself first.
That's it.
If not, nothing else is going to work.
I always think about it from a scripture standpoint. There's a scripture that says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you don't love yourself, what kind of love do you have for your neighbor?
Wow.
Right? And so I don't mean love yourself in a narcissistic way. I don't mean be prideful or be arrogant. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have value and worth. You were fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, if that's what you believe, right? That's what I believe. Yeah. So if that's the case, you are a beautiful human being with so much to offer the world. All I'm telling you to do is acknowledge it, speak life to it, cultivate it. I think that's incredibly important.
Oh gosh. Yes, I mean, you got me thinking of some things already in the past that related to. Ooh, okay. I like it. And love have boundaries, you said too, also in one of your videos. It does have boundaries.
Love has so many boundaries.
No conditions, but it has boundaries.
It does. Unconditional love. You need to give me unconditional love. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
I'm willing to love you on a good day and a bad day.
Yes.
Okay? What I'm
Yes.
not willing to do is love you through abuse and from you being toxic and from you putting me to the point of death, right? And let's be acknowledge one thing when we talk about that. Death can be physical, can be emotional, can be spiritual. So if you are cutting me down, if you are breaking me apart, if you are ripping me limb from limb, physically, emotionally, spiritually, my love must have boundaries and say enough is enough. And that's me and my friends, that's me and my girl, that's me and I don't care what we're talking about. Love has to have boundaries. Respect has boundaries. Brotherhood, sisterhood, friendship, it has boundaries. Humanity has boundaries. So why wouldn't love?
Why wouldn't love? And yeah, I know when Cleveland State had that Black Love event, I call it hip hop Black Love event, At PSU, I know you mentioned that. You had to, because that's
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you can probably already imagine where I started things. I said, listen, as a Black man, right? One of the greatest things that I can do is tell another brother how to love himself first. Okay, that's not something that's like a popular thing to talk about. In fact, Eric and I, Jowdy Eric Matthews, who I know is one of the producers of this show, we were talking this morning just about the concept of, if I talk about getting healthy as a Black man, I'm looked at as soft in a lot of communities and in a lot of circles. But the reality is, I deserve to be healthy and not toxic, just like everybody else, right? So that's one of the first things I said. I said, look, I want my daughter to see a healthy man in front of her, a man who knows how to deal with his emotions, a man who knows how to say I'm sorry, a man who knows how to respect his wife and his children, because I want my wife to have a man even better than me. So let me set the bar that she raises or that he raises. That's what I need. Right? I think that's incredibly important when you talk about love. That love, again, it begins with the person in the mirror. I can't talk about, oh, my wife needs to love me better and I don't give her love the right way. Right? One thing I learned, and this is true, and a lot of people will understand this. If any of you right now, your spouse is tripping, I'm here to help. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If your spouse has been tripping and they are driving you up the wall, here's what I want you to do. Fix you.
Wow.
Fix you. Have you been speaking with kindness, respect, love, adoration, admiration? Have you been giving what you want to receive? Now, if you have truly been doing right by the person you're with and their love is still toxic, that's not love. So we need to talk about therapy.
Yeah.
If, however, you have been treating your spouse the wrong way and then you're mad at them that they're not treating you the right way, fix yourself. One of the things that I learned in my own life is sometimes my wife would be tripping. And I would say, what is she doing? What is she thinking? And why is she acting that way? When I fixed my own interactions and reactions with her, I found she didn't trip as much. So what did I learn about the cause of her tripping? When you drive the person crazy, sometimes they go crazy. I'm driving. So make sure that you're giving the love you want to receive, making sure you're giving the respect you want to receive, making sure you're giving the vulnerability and the openness you want to receive, that you're paying attention the way you want to be paid attention to. All of these things are incredibly important. If you're doing it all now, then you know you need another step and you need help. But if you're not doing it, don't sit and focus on what they're not doing. Focus on what you can do better. And even if they don't reciprocate, I'm going to sleep well at night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, right.
And I'll say one last thing about that. Usually I find that if I'm not treating my partner the right way, it's because something's wrong with me. Like I'm hurting, I'm broken, I'm scarred, I'm mourning, I'm grieving, I got something going on. So I'm going to have more peace, not just because I did right by you, but because I did right by me, I took care of myself and got healthier. Oh, I've been short-tempered around you because I haven't been working on myself. And my short temper is causing you to have a short temper. So if I work on my short temper, maybe we can have a peaceful interaction with one another. Maybe I don't take it so personal when you do say the wrong thing because I have grace to give. Mm-hmm. So I just want to tell you, if you're tripping today, if you're scarred today, if you're hurting today, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about somebody laying hands on you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if y'all are tripping, fix you.
Fix you. Ooh, wait. That might be the next book.
Fix you. you gonna make them mad at me. You don't want me to write that book. They don't want to read that.
Ooh, they don't want to read that one.
They don't want to read that
one. They'll think of everybody else to fix. Everybody else got the problem, but they never look at themselves. Fix you.
That's it.
Fix you. I like that. Bingo. Wow. Oh, okay. We're gonna wrap this segment up. This has been powerful with Maurice. He's been advocating for you, advocating for me, advocating for himself, advocating for the community, just to stay safe, healthy, and whole. And we do appreciate him doing that. You know, my gosh, when I think about you and your journey, and I think about myself and my journey, and with my journey with domestic violence, and it's definitely, you know, something that's on the rise. And that's why I work with a lot of women now, and even men who go through domestic violence. And when I find out when they're talking to you, it's never about themselves. They're always talking to you about the other person. Mm-hmm. Always about the other person. And they never stop and think about themselves.
Absolutely. And it's a hard thing to think about, because if I think about myself, I got to acknowledge pain, and I got to feel pain I don't want to feel. That's the hardest part of dealing with your problems. And one thing that I have learned the hard way, and I'm sure you have too, because you have healed and survived some very, very real things in doing my research on you. And I kind of, saw some of your story. Here's reality. It hurts either way. It hurts either way. So what I need to do is make my hurt count for something. If it's going to hurt, then I want to hurt towards health, and hurt towards wholeness, and hurt towards healing. I think that's the key, is I want to hurt towards something. I don't want to just hurt for the sake of hurting.
Yeah. Hurt people.
That's it.
So I tell you, when you're hurting, you'll lash out at any given moment, hurt whatever.
That's it. But healed people heal people.
Yes, don't they though? Thank you. That's an encouraging word. I want to close out with that one. Heal people. And we got to get healed first, people. We have to. How are we going to survive if we don't take care of us? I remember being on a plane one time, and I remember the stewardess, she was going through the motions in the cabinet here, exit there, blah, blah, blah. And when this dropped down and put it on your face, and and she was really saying, you have to save yourself first, even if you have the child with you. And I thought it was so cruel. Well, that's my baby. I'm gonna save my baby first. And she came over and talked to me later about it. She says, well, listen, if you're gone and dead and gone, the child automatically won't survive. So you got to take care of you first.
Yeah. That's a real statement. That's a real statement. If you run out of oxygen, how much help are you for your loved one who you want to get oxygen to?
That's right. Boom. And now it makes sense. It didn't at first, but it clicked. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. Do.
So again, thank you for joining us on Tea Time with Laura and our special guest, Maurice Martin. And also, don't forget, tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. for Tea Time with Laura. And if you can, please look at the description below. You'll find our website for the documentary. Be a Raised Fist Mixtape Volume 1. And also the merchandise page website is there as well. So please support us, buy a t-shirt, buy a cup, buy a mug, and share it with other people as well. Make it a great conversational piece. And I will appreciate your support. I really will. So again, thank you for tuning in with Tea Time with Laura as we close out, and take care. And also, before I say that, then I'm sorry, I should have also tell you, if you want to learn more about, because we're going to have a little bit more with Maurice. And if you want to learn more about our conversation with Maurice, go to our website, because we are going to continue this a little deeper. Go to our website and click on and check it out. Thanks again. See you soon.